Hello and welcome to the No Format Podcast with me, Charlie, and my significant other that's not my wife.
I like that. I'll take that.
Mr. Michael. I'll
Yeah.
say your surname.
We haven't revealed our surnames
No,
on the
no,
podcast,
no.
and I don't think we're planning to.
No. So this week's episode is literally a no format episode. So we chat the shit, as I think we called it before.
Yeah, chat the shit, kill the breeze.
Yeah. Shoot some hoops.
Yeah.
I think, have I still got the... No, it's not there anymore. I used to have a basketball net. We're at my mum and dad's recording at the moment. I used to have a basketball, so we could have literally shot some hoops, but
Yeah.
the basketball net's gone and I have no basketball, so
Yes.
it wouldn't be very successful, would it?
That wouldn't work. Yeah, put out some windows. So the No Format Podcast's on the road currently.
We are kind of on the road, aren't we? Yeah.
So that's why we might be going down to Cornwall next week.
Yeah.
Record some episodes down there on our tour bus.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for the No Format tour bus going around the country.
To all of our Cornish fans, which would literally probably be maybe my family if they ever went to Cornwall. I suppose we are, yeah. I suppose it is kind of on the road. I will apologise as well. There might be the occasional dog barking.
Yeah, we had it in the last episode briefly.
Yeah, they're done well, but yeah, so they might be barking, but yeah, nothing to worry about. We're not being attacked or anything like that.
No.
And it's not Michael either.
No, I was just making some random dog noises.
So, what's been cracking, Michael? What's been happening?
Not a lot. What has been happening? Last time we did this, I talked about I was decorating. You talked about how you were getting your damp proofing. But you're on the way with that, and I finished my decorating, so
yeah, it looks
that's all
good.
done.
It looks good. Yeah, I mean, I think we got to the point where we had to change the subject from my damp proofing.
Yeah, because it got a little bit boring.
It did get a bit boring.
But yeah, I brought it up again.
It's very much adult life, though, isn't it?
Oh, very much. The other day at work, we started discussing Hoovers. I was like, before we continue, guys, are we genuinely discussing Hoovers right now?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, well, it's not obvious, but I don't have children yet. But I'm sure I'll get to that point if we decide to have children, that you start discussing nappies and all that sort of stuff.
When we have children, we might have children. You never know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is true.
We're living in the 21st century.
That is true. But
when you have children, or not you specifically,
okay,
we will be discussing Bluey.
Bluey. Somebody
have I discussed it with you?
No, but somebody has mentioned it. I'm sure somebody at work that mentioned it. I have heard it, and when I heard it, Bluey, I thought the old-fashioned name for porn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Bluey,
yeah.
But
that's what people always think of when they first hear about it, and they don't know whether it was a bit of an inside joke with the creators. But Bluey is about a world in which all the dogs are talking and act like humans, if you will.
Okay.
And Bluey is the main character, or one of the main characters, a little female dog about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
Who's a blue heeler, which is like an Australian border collie.
Oh, okay.
Her dad's a blue heeler, her mum's a red heeler.
Mm-hmm.
But she's blue herself, so she's Bluey. Her dad's called Bandit and her mum's called Chili.
Her dad's called what, sorry?
Bandit.
Oh, I thought you said Mandem. Okay.
Bandit. No, Bandit. And Bandit is the dad that all men aspire to be.
Okay.
He is just amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's such a good show. Me and Lauren genuinely stick it on and turn to each other at times and be like, are we watching this to keep George entertained, or are we watching it ourselves?
You didn't even have a kid. Your cat's called George.
It's honestly such a funny show. But yeah, so that's what we'd be discussing when you have kids.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll do a whole episode on Bluey.
Okay.
So,
I feel like I might watch it before just to see what the hype is.
I've recommended it to people.
Yeah.
I'll send you some episodes.
Okay.
Watch. It's not on Disney Plus this episode because they don't allow it. But watch.
They don't allow it.
Yeah, they don't allow childbirth scenes. And this has got a dad pretending to be pregnant.
So that's quite thingy for Disney Plus, because I've watched the Pam and Tommy. Have you watched the Pam and Tommy series?
But it's not really Disney. That's why.
But it's on the Disney Plus channel. There's a bit where he talks to his penis, and his penis talks to him.
So when I say they don't allow it, it's the Disney Junior rules.
Okay.
But yeah, they've got, because there's a lot of controversy about later season, because they've stopped an episode in which they hold a family meeting. It's called Family Meeting, the episode. I've not watched this one yet. But they hold a family meeting because the dad keeps on fasting in front of the kids.
Okay.
At their level.
Yeah.
So they hold a family meeting with the mum and dad to discuss the whole fluffing situation. There's an episode in which Pony poos in the background. They just cut out the pony completely.
Okay.
There's an episode in which the dad gets hit in the biscuits, as he calls them.
The biscuits.
Because all my biscuits. And that got cut. And there's another episode in which the dad's basically saying, yeah, sure, I should probably get rid of him, but I don't know, what if we want another one of them in the future? Basically talking about a vasectomy.
Yeah. It's hitting more like current topics.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Current topic.
Well, I say current topics, but topics that are real.
Yeah.
If that
But
makes
instead
sense.
on Disney, they decided to edit it saying, yeah, I should probably get rid of my dog teeth, but what if I want to bite someone one day? That's what they edited the vasectomy talk to.
I think that's worse.
Yeah, same.
It's like encouraging people to like bite other people. Yeah, I think that is a bit worse. I mean, have you seen things of like dark, like like kids' TV shows that have got dark?
Theories, yeah.
Yeah, like
the most famous one, I'm guessing you're on about Rugrats.
Oh no, I was thinking Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, here we go. Okay, let's hear the Thomas the Tank Engine.
I've not heard your one either. So
you do Thomas the Tank Engine.
There's a dark theory, but there's a bit. What's the bad tree? Is it Gordon?
Oh, Diesel.
Diesel, the bad tree.
Fuck Diesels.
They like lock him up in a like a storage. I don't know what they call.
Oh no, they do that with Gordon.
Is it Gordon?
Yeah, they do.
After he does something.
Episode 2, they lock him up in a little thing,
and he can't get out or anything. And it's like you think, how dark is that? That the fact that they've like locked him away. It's like locking a human in a prison cell and just leaving them there.
Yeah,
like he's just left there, like, and he can't do anything.
Because literally, it's a scene of him. Literally, you can see his eyes above this brick wall.
Yeah, and he's just that's it. Brick him in the thing. Like it's like being buried alive. But what's your Rugrat one?
Right. I'm just bringing it up on my phone because it's quite a long theory.
Okay. I assume it's a theory of the whole. It's not just like an episode. It's like
no, a whole theory about what Rugrats is about.
Okay.
So I'll talk it through and we'll go through the bit by bit. So the Rugrats were really a figment of Angelica's imagination.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on a second because my internet's going slow all of a sudden.
Angelica's the older
one,
girl that has
with the Cynthia doll.
Yeah, and she has a crush on. Is it her? No, I'm thinking of Hey
Arnold.
Arnold.
Doesn't have a crush on.
No,
Tommy because they're cousins.
No, I thought it was the guy with the glasses.
They look very similar, Angelica and Helga from Hey Arnold.
That's what I'm thinking of, and Helga has a crush on Hey Arnold. Yes. Yeah, getting confused there.
Right, so Chucky died a long time ago, along with his mother in childbirth. That's why Chaz is a nervous wreck all the time.
Okay.
Tommy was a stillborn. That's why Stu is constantly in the basement making toys for their son, who never had a chance to live. The DeVilles had an abortion.
Are they the twins?
Yeah, they're the twins.
Yeah.
What are their names?
The male and female twins, aren't they?
I can't think what their names
are.
Phil and Lil.
Yeah.
Had an abortion, and Angelica couldn't figure out whether it would be a boy or a girl, thus creating the twins. Angelica's mum died of a heroin overdose. So Angelica basically became schizophrenic bipolar because she was a crack baby.
Okay.
And additionally, Drew, in his depression, married a gold-digging whore that Angelica idolised because she fooled herself into thinking it was her real mum, but always had the concept of her mum, Cynthia, and took a Barbie doll and made it after her mum's image.
God, that is a real dark...
So that's why she wears... Cynthia doll wears an unwashed orange dress, having jacked up hair, which is why she's so attached to it. And later in life, during the All Grown Up series, she followed in her mum's footsteps with drugs and everything, and died of overdosing at the age of 13 when All Grown Up was cancelled.
Okay, that is I've never heard that before.
The only Rugrat not to be fictional was Dill. A fly has just landed on my phone.
Oh.
Was Tommy's brother Dill. However, Angelica didn't know the difference between Dill and her other creations, and Dill didn't follow her commands. After endless crying and refusal to disappear like the others did when Angelica was angry with him, she hit him, and when she hit him, screaming tune, Stu ran in and pulled his niece off his only child, but it was too late. He had a brain hemorrhage which resulted in deformation, and he grew up with this damage, and it became more evident in All Grown Up when he was 9.
God, I mean, if this was true, like, is this the writers initially wrote this and thought, how can we change this into a kids' TV show?
I'm paraphrasing a lot of this. It goes even into detail about the trip to Paris, where Chaz married a hooker.
Okay.
But that's where the Rugrats in Paris movie. Yeah.
Okay.
And it also talks about Susie, but yeah, that's the fan theory. Everything was a figment of Angelica's imagination.
Fair enough. I've not heard that one before.
No. I wonder what other fan theories there are out there.
What, about kids or
about TV shows? Should we have a look?
I bet there's a lot.
TV.
I think anybody, you could make I mean, for that one, somebody's gone into a lot of detail, and you could probably
massively.
understand some of it might be loosely on things, but there must be stuff that people just make out to be, that's just like unrealistic kind of thing. People like want things to have something about them when they're not, if that makes sense. That is interesting reading.
I've heard this one. Breaking Bad is a Walking Dead prequel.
I was talking about that the other day because there was that. Yeah, it's because in Walking Dead
they show the caravan or the drugs. One of the two.
Not Daryl. One of the characters that's in the first series of The Walking Dead. I can't remember his name.
Mo.
Yeah, that's it. He has like supposedly a thing of the crystal meth or something. Walter White.
Yes, he has a secret drug stash that strikes quite the resemblance to the product that turned White into a kingpin.
Yeah, because it's supposedly in the same universe, and I know they were going to do they were on about doing a crossover with the Sons of Anarchy with Breaking Bad. Like Jesse Pinkman was going to go. I don't know if you've ever watched Sons of Anarchy.
I've never watched either, to be honest.
Okay, but yeah, there was a link up there. But no, I mean that. Yeah, I've heard that one before. That's quite a good one. Sandy
died at the beginning of Grease. That's why she flies off in her red convertible as they wave goodbye to their friends at the end of the film.
But does that mean they all die because they're all in that convertible?
Only her and Danny.
Do you think he's dead then?
Hold on, let's have a look.
Like, because he goes as well, doesn't he? Oh, yeah, it's just
so
them
the first
two that goes.
Line of the song, I saved her life, she nearly drowned, suggests that Sandy actually did drown, and the whole movie is an elaborate musical fantasy due to the lack of oxygen getting to her brain. The flying red convertible also suggests Sandy is happily being whisked away to heaven at the end of the movie.
Okay. Interesting. Jack in
Titanic is from the future.
Oh, I've not heard this one before.
So this one, I've heard this one because there's certain things that he says that didn't happen for a few times, and like I'm going to say before I read what this article is. Apparently he mentions a port that wasn't built until like the 1950s. And the whole idea is he was on the ship to stop Rose from jumping off the ship.
Yeah.
Which he does like near the beginning, or tries to. Because if she'd done that, then the ship would have turned around to look for her, and not sunk like it was meant to.
Oh, okay. See, I mean, that is a good theory, but I think that was just probably a bit of lazy writing and the fact that they've just not properly researched things before he says. But no, I mean, that is quite...
So here we go. So other signs say something. So he does mention about this suicide thing. Apparently his haircut and backpack weren't common until later fashion. And he mentions of man-made structures that weren't yet created, like a roller coaster on Santa Monica Pier and Lake Wissanta.
Oh, okay.
Apparently in the DVD commentary, James Cameron is really annoyed that he mentions this lake being... Because they just picked a random lake. He says in the interview that they just had a map and they picked a random random lake on the map. Yeah. And he was really annoyed because a few years later he realised that was a man-made lake after the Titanic sank. Because he wants everything to be meticulous on Titanic. Yeah. Like the whole thing was a funding mission for him to actually go and explore the wreckage.
Maybe he created this so it makes it look like you say, because
like his mistakes.
That they're intentional. But I do love little things like that, like the conspiracy theories. But yeah, I've not heard that one before. I've heard conspiracy theories about the Titanic, but not. What other ones have you got?
The Always Sunny characters don't actually look like that. We'll skip that one because it's not that famous a show. I love it, but
okay.
Bender wasn't the Bender that we know from the Futurama pilot.
Oh, okay.
The Bender that all Futurama fans know is a reckless criminal, but according to a fan theory, the foul-mouthed robot is only this way due to an electronical issue that we see in the pilot. In the first episode, Bender is uncharacteristically depressed after learning that he's been making suicide booths.
It's been a while.
The theory states that when Bender gets electrocuted in the Hall of Criminals, he reboots into a criminal personality of himself.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. What about it's not really a conspiracy theory, but the thing of the Simpsons predicting...
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Or like loads
of everything in
things.
history.
Yeah, like they seem to have predicted like so much, like the Donald Trump on the escalator thing, him becoming president. I'm trying to think of other things.
I'm trying to think of other things, but it's insane the amount of things that they ended up predicting.
There's a thing with the two towers as well. You know, it's the episode where Homer goes to go to New York. I think it's like Homer versus New York.
Yeah,
and he goes up, and they're going to New York on a budget because I think Homer gets drunk and leaves his car there.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's
like I can't remember the exact plot of it, but it's a weird episode.
Yeah, and there's an image where they're looking, and Lisa's got like holding up a magazine or something, and then the price of the tickets were like $9.11, $9.11.
Oh,
Like, and then there was a picture. I'm sure there's like a picture of the two towers on a magazine, or there was something supposedly related to this. But again, I don't know.
no, it's the whole thing is just pure coincidence.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, the show's been going for what? I was about to say 20 years, but it came out 91, I believe. So it's been going for
I think it was 1980s, wasn't it? Simpsons?
I think the pilot was 1980.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong.
I'm just trying to.
It might be 89, actually, saying that. I think it was.
I thought.
I think actually you might be right. It might come out in October 89.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's. There's 728 episodes. Yeah, 1989, 17th of December.
There you go.
So yeah, it's been out for a long time. But yeah.
So yeah, when you've got a show that's been going for 33 years,
yeah, I suppose you're going to predict something.
Aren't you?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But no, I do like these sort of conspiracy. I think that's definitely an idea for an episode. I don't know if I put that on the.
We have mentioned
conspiracy theories because some of them are just ridiculous.
And we have talked about conspiracy theories, I believe.
Yeah, I think have we?
Maybe we've done this in person.
I can't remember what we've discussed in person. And
the other issue, what we discussed in person, what we discussed with other people, and also I did have a podcast prior to this podcast.
Yeah, that's
and I know
true.
for a fact that we talked about conspiracy theories on there because we talked about the discussions, and we talked about, because it was a completely different podcast, I'll talk about it. Sorry, excuse me.
That's right.
Basically, we asked each other what conspiracy theories do you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big conspiracy theorist.
No.
But the one thing that I did believe is that, so get your phone a second, and you, the listener, grab your phone.
Okay.
And search Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Hall of President.
Oh, you have told me about this one, yeah.
So for the listener, I thought I'd had this discussion with Charlie. But basically, the theory goes that Disney did never thought that Donald Trump was going to be president. So they built, for their animatronic Hall of Presidents, a Hillary Clinton animatronic figurine. Unfortunately for them, Donald Trump went ahead and won. So instead of making a brand new figurine, they basically dressed the Hillary Clinton figure as Donald Trump. And if you look at the images, it is 100% Hillary Clinton in a wig.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. It does very much like... yeah. It definitely doesn't look like Donald Trump.
No.
Even the shape of the face and everything.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, some of them, I've been to that ride at Disneyland, and they're not like Madame Tussauds kind of quality, but they are decent. Like, you know what I mean, like Barack Obama.
You know who you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I say George Washington. I suppose no one knows really what he looks like because no pictures of him. But as a resemblance as you can. But yeah, when you look at it, definitely.
Yeah, surreal.
We'll
have to have an episode in which we talk about both come to the table with some conspiracy theories, whether we believe them or not.
Oh yeah, I'd say there's a lot out there that I like that I just think are absolute crap, but there's some that I do believe.
Go on, the biggest conspiracy theory in the world. We won't talk about 9/11 because I don't think we should be talking about conspiracy theories in which people died and things like that.
No.
But the biggest conspiracy theory I'd say in the world, moon landing. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Do you believe it happens?
Oh yeah, I believe it happens.
Good, so do I.
Yeah.
So all these conspiracy theorists that don't think it happened, do you honestly think Russia would let America get away with being the first country to land on the moon?
Yeah.
If they caught a little sniffle of the idea and got any intelligence that they might not have landed on the moon, they would have leaked that years ago. Like there's no way that they wouldn't, because it was the big moon race.
Yeah.
Be the first on the moon.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no way that Russia wouldn't have found out some way or another whether it was true or not.
There's actually, just talking about that, there's a TV series on Apple called For All Mankind.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically set in kind of like an alternate universe where Russia were actually the first to the moon.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
And then it becomes sort of the race of who's going to have the first moon base on there. So they because America obviously like they want to be there, so now it's like they're racing to get the first like moon base, and then they have like a bit of a sort of standoff on the moon because they've both got moon bases up there. But I recommend
Make it
watching
full circle talking about Futurama. Instantly, the moment you talked about moon base on the moon, I started thinking of in the second episode of Futurama where they go to the moon amusement park.
Okay.
And they talk about the first people who landed on the moon, because obviously they don't have the historical records for some reason back when it happened. and it was Sailors on the Moon, and just the song, "We're sailors on the moon, we carry a harpoon," just straight away stuck in my head.
And I've not watched that series in a long time.
I am so happy that they're rebooting it.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
What, as in redoing it, or just bringing out another series?
Bringing out another series.
Okay.
I think at this point now, it's the series that's had the most cancellations and reboots. Like, I am obsessed with Futurama. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite shows. It's just so good. I'd say only about 1 or 2 bad episodes. The whole thing. It's got emotion. If you're saying you don't cry at stuff, there's no way you've not cried at Futurama, surely.
No, never. Futurama? It'd be like crying at The Simpsons.
The dog, Seymour.
Oh, yeah. That is sad with his dog.
Yeah.
But, I didn't cry at it.
The final episode. I think there's so many sad moments, and it's so well done. It manages to somehow mix brilliant humour with quite emotional beats at the same time.
Is it the original cast that are coming back?
Oh, yeah. So that was the big thing to begin with. John DiMaggio, I believe his name is. I really hope I'm not making up his name and getting it wrong.
Okay.
But he's the actor who plays Bender.
Okay.
And at first he said no due to pay dispute.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it was like he felt that the pay that they was getting wasn't quite right for what he was entitled to. And eventually, so it was Big Song and Dance, he said no, everyone else was meant to be returning. It's like, okay, we'll recast him. Eventually they got him on board. He has said in an interview he's not getting paid anymore, but he wanted to bring the situation to light.
Oh, okay.
That he loves the fans and the show, so he wouldn't not do it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I love it so much. They've done obviously numerous seasons and.
Have you ever watched the thing they do with The Simpsons?
Crossover episode.
Yeah.
I think I might have watched it once.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
What is a good thing that I really recommend is on the Nerdist podcast. They actually reunited the cast a few years after it got cancelled, the most recent time it got cancelled.
Oh, okay.
They reunited the cast for a podcast episode.
Oh, okay.
So it was a podcast audio-only episode of Futurama.
While they were playing the characters.
Yeah,
of
they played the characters. It was literally
okay.
a 40-minute episode, I believe, of Futurama.
But just like...
That was just for the audio only.
See, I don't know why because I know during lockdown, Seth MacFarlane did, it was like a few-minute one with Stewie and Brian talking about COVID.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe this will be a thing because people, you can't, you can't be sort of there, like in the studio and things, but you could still record from home. So I thought maybe something like The Simpsons or things could do that. That would be good.
So well. It was insanely good. Because I think Peter Kay's Car Share.
Yeah.
I can't think what the exact title is.
I think it's called Car Share, isn't it?
Is it called Car Share, Carpool, something like that?
Yeah.
They did a audio episode of that.
Oh, okay. I
think that was also due to Peter Kay's health or whatever reason. He seems to have shied away from the
media
public all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did an audio episode of that. That was quite good as well.
See, I don't know if the reason they don't do it is because I'm not saying podcasts are popular and there are a lot of people, but I think there's a lot of people that don't. And I think I don't know, like for them, they might think people would, I don't know, they won't get the audience that they'd anticipate. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Since I've been doing this,
I suppose also the other thing is podcasts are free.
Yeah. Where they're in the money,
rely on ad revenue.
Yeah, that is true. But you'd think some, you know what I mean, Futurama and things that they've got a big fan following anyway. Like you listen to that Always Sunny sort of podcast. You know what I mean? They've got the fan following. They're going to get the sort of thing. And you try it, and if it doesn't work, do you?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think since I listened to your original I think your original podcast was one of the first ones that I ever listened to.
Oh, really?
I've never been thinking with podcasts, but I've never been thinking with podcasts before.
Have you started listening to any others since, or?
I started listening. It was last year. I think I listened to an episode or two called the Archive? Is it 81 Archive? But basically, it was a TV series on Netflix about this hotel. Well, it wasn't a hotel. It was like an apartment block, and part of it's filmed in modern time, and part of it's filmed like 20 years before. And this girl goes into this thing 20 years before because there's some weird cult and things going on. But anyway, the whole thing's based. I'm sure it's Archive 81. I'm just going to have a quick look now. The whole thing was based on a podcast.
No, okay.
The whole series.
Not heard of that.
Archive.
What was it like?
It's like a horror
that they put out.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I'm sure it was this one. Archive 81. Archive 81. I'm sure this. Yeah, it was this one. Just double checking. Yeah, it was on based on a podcast, and you can still podcast is still thingy. But in the series, I think that one of the guys' mates from the Modern Time that's his job. He does a podcast that looks into all weird UFOs, aliens, ghosts, and stuff like that. And I think that's what it's sort of based on. I recommend watching it on Netflix. Archive 81.
Okay.
It's this year, but I'm sure I watched it last year. But yeah, that's probably I started listening to it, but then. Yeah, I just never got... Not that I disliked it, I just never got around to...
Well, there's plenty of podcasts I can recommend to you. But...
Yeah, well, I want to listen to that one that you recommended to me not so long ago. About the films and things.
Oh, yeah.
We
literally just did the episodes on.
Yeah, that one.
Last week.
Yeah. But I'm into... I like audiobooks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I like to do audio. I keep meaning to listen to the new Lord of the Rings with Andy Serkis narrating.
Oh, is he narrating? Oh, that'd be good. You know, there's a... I haven't listened to it. Lord of the Rings podcast with Billy Boyd and I've forgotten who the other actor's name is.
One that plays Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I've seen they did something where they were interviewing, they interviewed old cast members from things. So they did one with Elijah Wood and things.
Yeah.
But I didn't put two and two together. It was for a podcast.
Yeah.
But okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's something because I do like them too. They are funny.
Yeah.
They're
very good together. That's why the film works so well with them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. I think we should leave it there.
Yes.
We've gone full circle. The podcast talking about podcasts. Yeah. So next week, you know what? Who knows what we'll talk about?
Yeah, it's literally week by week.
We're throwing all formats out the window. We tried the wheel. We've still got the wheel, but yeah,
it's always there as a backup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we're not sure what we're going to do next week, maybe we'll do the wheel and we'll see what we'll record.
But any ideas, if you want to comment on our social media, Facebook,
social media,
Instagram.
Facebook, Twitter, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether we've got Twitter. I don't really use it.
You're the social media guy for this podcast,
Yeah.
so...
But yeah, search No Format Required or No Format Podcast, one of the two. And give us a follow.
Yeah.
Give us a like. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps with our numbers. And thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.